Hello, how's everything going with you today? I'm Layla Stella, and welcome back to Speak Real English. Today, we're exploring a really interesting and useful topic, and it comes from a question submitted by one of our curious and thoughtful viewers, James. Thank you for sending in such a great question. Now, I'm not totally sure if James is a male or female name since names vary from culture to culture, but either way, I truly appreciate your contribution. Your question touches on a very important area of spoken English, one that learners often find tricky but essential for clear and natural communication. You asked about how we figure out which part of an English word carries the main stress and which part is softer or unstressed. That is such a smart question, and I'm excited to go deep into it with you. Word stress in English isn't always logical or easy to guess, but once you understand the patterns and practice them, it becomes much more natural. This lesson is brought to you thanks to support from Verbaling, as well as the Speak Real English Premium program, Fluent in 15. You can explore Verbaling to connect with professional native-speaking English teachers for personalized online lessons. If you're looking to level up your speaking confidence and fluency with a structured path and community support, I invite you to check out Fluent in 15 through my YouTube channel. It's where we take learning even further and get serious about fluency while still having fun with it. So, let's begin answering James's question by thinking about the factors that influence stress in English. I want to guide you with a few questions of my own. I know it sounds funny to answer a question with more questions, but English stress patterns are influenced by different things, and asking yourself the right questions can really help. First, take a look at whether the word has a suffix. A suffix is something added to the end of a word, and it often changes how the word is pronounced. Let's play with the word photograph. The stress falls on the first part, so we say photograph. But when we say photography, the stress shifts to the second syllable, to tography. Then with photographic, it moves again to the third syllable, photographic. And photographer stresses the second part again, photographer. These examples show how suffixes like y, ic, or change the rhythm and stress of the word. There are rules that can help us predict these patterns, and while we don't have time here to explain every single one in full detail, they're exactly the kind of tools and deeper lessons you get in our full premium program. The more you study suffixes and how they work in English, the easier it becomes to identify which part of a word to stress. Now another thing to consider is the origin of the word. English is made up of vocabulary taken from many different languages, especially Latin, Greek, French, and German. If you speak or are familiar with French, you might notice certain English words feel familiar to you. That's because they've been borrowed from French and often keep the French pronunciation pattern. Words like buccaneer or mountaineer put the emphasis on the final syllable, which is something we often see in French-influenced vocabulary. Another big clue to figuring out stress is understanding the word's part of speech. Is it a noun or is it a verb? This makes a big difference. Let's use the word present. When we say present as a noun, meaning a gift, the stress is on the first syllable, present. But when it's used as a verb, like to present an idea, the stress moves to the second syllable, present. This is common in English, and it helps the listener immediately understand how the word is being used in a sentence. Once you get used to this rhythm, it will help your comprehension and your speaking flow. Let's also touch on phrasal verbs. These are combinations of verbs with particles, often prepositions, like hand in, take off, or put up with. What's interesting here is that the stress often lands on the second word, the preposition, even though normally we don't stress prepositions in English. For example, in a sentence like please hand in your homework, the word in gets the emphasis. That's because in phrasal verbs, the second part plays a big role in changing the meaning, so we highlight it when we speak. Learning which words and syllables to stress will take time and practice, but it is absolutely worth it. You will begin to sound more like a native speaker and you'll be much easier to understand. Now let's take a moment to reflect on why this matters so much. English is a stress-timed language. That means the rhythm of our speech depends on hitting the stressed syllables at regular intervals while the unstressed ones get shortened or blurred. If your stress is off, it can sound strange or confusing to a native speaker. But if you master it, your English will instantly sound more natural. Think of word stress as the music of English. The beat, the tone, and the pauses all work together to communicate not just what you're saying but how you mean it. The wrong stress can change the meaning of a word or make it harder for someone to follow you. But the right stress adds clarity, flow, and confidence to your speech. Let's also remember that dictionaries are great tools for checking stress. Most good dictionaries will show you where the stress falls in a word using an apostrophe symbol. Don't be afraid to use these resources when you're unsure. Listening is another powerful tool. Watch English shows, listen to podcasts, or engage with native speakers and pay close attention to how they naturally stress words. Repeat what you hear, imitate the rhythm, and practice aloud. This is how you train your ear and your speaking skills together. Finally, stress can be different even between different kinds of English. British and American English sometimes stress words differently. The word advertisement in American English stresses the second syllable, but in British English, it's often the third. So context and exposure matter. There's no single rule that fits every case, but understanding these patterns gives you a strong foundation. And remember, even native speakers make mistakes with word stress from time to time. The goal is progress, not perfection. If you found this lesson useful, leave a comment and let me know which word you've had trouble stressing in the past. And make sure you're subscribed to Speak Real English on YouTube so you don't miss future lessons. We're also available on your favorite podcast apps, so whether you're commuting, exercising, or relaxing, you can keep learning and practicing. I'll catch you in the next lesson. Until then, take care and keep speaking real English with confidence and joy. See you soon.